Maddie. It's been a while since I've done a YouTube reading. I'm going to be continuing a message from a TikTok reading that I did. It was very brief, so I'll just summarize it here. But this is the tarot deck I'm using. So, the first card that we pulled was Temperance. So already a lot going on. If you're watching this at the time of the upload of this video, right now we are in eclipse season. We just had a solar eclipse. It's currently the 17th, so at the end of this month, August, we're going to have a lunar eclipse. Those might be flip-flopped, don't hold me on that. But regardless, so that already, lots of change, lots of revelations, realizations, sudden understandings, downloads of information, of wisdom, of intuition, development of intuition, lots of major changes in your life, even if it's only internal, which I seriously doubt for most people, but even, I just saw 1, 2, 3 on the clock, but even if it's just internal inside of you, they are big changes, and even through that, you will still be able to see the change through yourself in some way, shape, or form. That being said, Temperance as the first card that we're pulling out. So already there's so much to interpret here. So this is a card about patience, it's about balance, it's about understanding, gaining wisdom, gaining insight, intuition, harmony, acceptance, love. It's about all of these things. It's a very beautiful card. You can see that we have an angel. I keep thinking of this as Archangel Gabriel. I don't know if that's, I'm not too deep into, the history or the intention of the original illustration, regardless. So we have an angel here. We already see the balance, the sort of Libra scale shape between the cups of water, which is motion. We have these peachy pink wings, unconditional love, gentleness, softness. We can see that this angel has a halo around his head, but behind him, really, that's the moon. So that's intuition, wisdom, mystical things. It's downloads of understanding from the universe, from God, from, whatever it is that you would say it's from, but it's from the universe. So, and then we also have these dark storm clouds and this bright sunny day. So that's balancing both the harshness and the hard times of life with the brightness and the fun and the joys of life. We have the flowing water. We have air, the air element with this cloud. We have, I don't know if you can see it in this lighting, but on his toga thing is a golden triangle encompassed by a square. So these heart shapes all about power and structure, surrounded by all of these organic, soft colors. Again, balancing. So right off the bat, hopefully you can hear me. Right off the bat, this is talking about how the collective I'm speaking to, you are likely going through some sort of understanding, some sort of realization. Before I had started either of these readings, I was just journaling, and I was actually just journaling about how, I have a job, I work, I have a manager, right? And I get stuck, like everybody else, in that sort of resentment cycle towards management, and that irritation, that anger, the annoyance, all of it. And I forget that managers and bosses, even if they are jerks sometimes, or even if they are, whatever, they are people too. They have lives, they have feelings, they have needs, and they have hopes and hobbies, and things they like, and you know, they have a whole inner world of their own. And I was writing about how I forget that, you know, I forget all of these things. I forget they are also people. And then there's this other thing of like, yes, they get manager pay, but even that comes at a price. It comes at a price with the increased amount of stress, with working long hours oftentimes, or sometimes, you know, picking up whatever messes have to be cleaned up. So everything comes at a price. Everything, you know, there is compensation, but it has its own price there. And so the way it relates is that likely I'm talking to a collective who you're going through some sort of realization. You're going through some sort of understanding here with something that you may have been kind of in the shadows with. You may have been irritated, angry, resentful. You may have been, you know, and you might be going through this time actively of just like, even just, it could be little moments dotted throughout your day or throughout your week where you have these moments of like, oh, or, you know, remembering back on things and maybe feeling a little bit of guilt. You know, your perspective is shifting. And so I shuffled some more, and I pulled the Magician card right after that. And the Magician card, again, lots of symbolism here. I love this deck. I love the artwork. So you can see in this card, she has a lot of sort of tan, beige, taupe colors is what she's wearing. But then she has this robe of red and blue. Red of passion, power, energy. Blue of emotion, intuition, wisdom, calm and collected, but both are creative in their own way. You can see as well that she's surrounded by every element. She has the fire, she has water, she has earth, the grass down here, she has air, and then she has her wand that she's raising up with this serene face. The Magician card is about manifestation, it's about creation, it's about having your tools and using them too. It's about alchemy. So this card, along with this Temperance card, these two cards together are telling me that you're taking these realizations to heart and you are using them and incorporating them. So those two already, two major arcana, right off the bat, some big energy, big messages here. And then, so I didn't shuffle, I just checked the bottom of the deck, and I had the Hanged Man reversed. So, the Hanged Man reversed, this card talks about, sacrifices, and with this message, I was getting that, there's like, I think it's like a martyr. I didn't want to say, the first word that came to mind was like a victim mindset, but I didn't want to use that because it just doesn't feel right. It has a pretty bad connotation, right? But it's this sense of feeling like you've sacrificed, you've given up so much, you've done so much, or you do so much, and it just goes unappreciated. But then on the other side of that, you may have been giving up or doing all of these extra things that no one particularly asked you to do. So it's like, on one hand, we have somebody, likely you, if I'm being honest, collected. People might get irritated at that, and that's okay. But likely we have somebody who you may feel like you're giving so much, you're doing so much, and it's just going unappreciated, unnoticed. But then you're giving to your detriment. It might be coming from a good place, but you're giving to your detriment, and that wasn't asked of you. So having this in reverse, there is that going on, but there's also that flip in perspective, and that's what these two cards are, that flip. And this is just this is summarizing. Yeah, you're having some sort of flip in perspective, a change in your understanding. You're realizing something here. So behind the Hanged Man, we also had the 10 of Cups upright. I'm showing you exactly as they came out the first time I did that pull. So 10 of Cups, very happy, beautiful card. Wish fulfillment, wishes granted, being fulfilled in life, feeling fulfilled, surrounded by love, gratitude, full of love and gratitude. Now, there is this 8 of Swords energy, self-entrapment, feeling caged, but really you're keeping yourself there. 11-11, as I said that. So whatever it is, whatever your situation is, we've already established that 1, you're coming to a head on something big here. You're realizing something, you're understanding something differently now. And 2, part of that is that you were overgiving in a way that no one asked you to, or even if somebody did ask you to, it's a type of situation where you have the authority to decide still whether or not you want to, or whether or not you can give, whether or not you have it to give. So, the lightning, that was crazy. Confirmation lightning, I don't know. But, so yeah, that might be your situation where even if you were asked to give, I don't know if you can hear the storm in the background, but I love it. Even if you were asked to give, you ultimately have that authority to decide if you want to give that, if that's a good idea for you to do, for your health. So we've already established these things. Now, what we're being shown is that wish fulfillment is being granted, will be granted. This happy ending of yours, it's happening, but right now, you're working through that process of freeing yourself from the self-imposed prison. And that self-imposed prison, that self-imposed entrapment, whatever it is for you, like specifically, it has to do with that feeling of like you've sacrificed too much. So, with that being said, big messages here, very exciting. So let's get a little further into it. I'm going to set off these cards to the side. I'll take the 8 of Swords out too. So, I'm not hearing any prompt, so I'm just going to shuffle and see what needs to be said to you, what you need to hear. That's a lot. But it makes sense, so I'll keep it. So, we have 6 of Pentacles. 6 of Pentacles is about generosity, give and take, giving help, receiving help. Truthfully, that just goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about. Followed by the 9 of Cups. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Followed by the 9 of Cups. So the 9 is right before 10, right before the completion. The 9 is when you can sit back, just all 4, 4, 4. You can sit back and enjoy, your labors. This is the 9 of Cups, so this is sitting back and enjoying that fulfillment, sitting back and reveling in all of that you have achieved and all that you have, but still having that excitement for what is to come. But then we have this Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands is burden. It's when something gets too heavy to carry. The load is too big and you need to drop some things. You need to let some things go in order to keep going on, because you're carrying too much. You can't go any further. And then ending that out was the Lovers reversed. So the Lovers reversed, this can be about a very significant connection to you. It does not have to be romantic. It's just an important connection that means a lot to you, a very deep connection. And in reversed, there's some sort of turmoil there. There's some sort of uneven ground. You guys aren't understanding each other. You're not on the same page. Whatever that is for you, it's there, and I'm seeing it. And I can see that you want to have that fulfillment. You want to give, and you want to be appreciated, and you want to be given back. But I'm also seeing that the way that you've been trying to make that happen is not working, and it hasn't been working. That's what caused that Ten of Wands energy of things getting too heavy, things getting too overwhelming, and ultimately leading to this sort of misunderstanding energy. So I can see the story playing out here. Let's get some more. Page of Wands. You can see she's surrounded by sunflowers. That's optimism. But you can also see that this character, she's got this sort of young maiden look to her. It's not about looks, really. It's more about experience. And it's about, I was about to say attitude or temperance or something like that. But this is the Wands in general is a confident and creative family suit, whatever court. It's a very confident, generally speaking, court. But the pages are all the most youthful, the most young members of that court. They are the ones that have the most to learn. So this Page of Wands, this reflects the sort of desire and the optimism to want to have these different things in your life. The balance to give and take, the love and happiness, the generosity and the understanding. But there's a bit more learning to be done here. Whoa! And then we have the World at the bottom of the deck. See if you can see it. The World card, that is huge. So the World card is the completion of a cycle, but you can see with this snake that is surrounding her, I don't know how well you can see it in this light. A cycle ends for another to begin. I feel that some people here, when they heard that just now, might have felt like it's daunting or exhausting. But really, it's exciting. So we again see that she's surrounded by all of these elements, but this time she is decorated in armor. She has her royal garments as well. She is eyes wide open compared to this beginning magician card. Oh, girl. This beginning magician card where she's serene, but her eyes are closed. She's, and with this World card, at the end of the journey, the Fool's journey, her eyes are wide open and she's not afraid. She's looking onwards and she's still taking everything that she's learned before and using it all and everything she's felt and experienced before and alchemizing it all into pure gold, into something that is priceless for you. You know what I mean? So that is a very exciting card. So what's the guidance here? I can see clearly sort of the story so far. We're 20 minutes in. Oh. Okay. So for those of you, if you're watching this and you've gone this far in the video and you're just like, man, I just want to know what to do. I just want to understand. So Spirit is saying, starting off with the Eight of Pentacles. In this deck, you can see it symbolized with this hammer. Tinkering, building. So the Eight of Pentacles is all about building up a skill. It's about apprenticeship. It's about you may be quite skilled already, but you still have much to learn, just like we explained. And this is about, it can be a bit redundant. It can be a bit boring sometimes, or it can be a bit, there can be something about the repetitive tasks that are just eating at you or getting to you in some way. But the point of it is that is the road to mastery. That is the road to mastering a skill. Spirit is telling you, yes, if you've been talking to Spirit or the universe and you've just been, there's some sort of way that you're feeling. I'm getting multiple. It can be the daunting, exhausted, like, oh, when is this over? But it can also be just confusion of like, what do I do with this information? But it can also be just, it can be something as simple as, boring humdrum life, 22, that's crazy. Boring humdrum life, just kind of going through the motions. But regardless of whichever way that's coming through for you, Spirit is telling you, yes, you're on the right path. This is the way to mastering these skills. You have a certain skill set in life, in whatever particular situation, emotionally, at work, whatever it is for you, there's this particular skill set that you are mastering right now. So with the Nine of Swords, lots of worry, lots of anxiety, and lots of overthinking. You might be wondering or worrying that, wondering if things are going to work out, if you're doing the right thing, or you might be overthinking things. Going back to these earlier opening cards, with that Temperance card, we're talking about how you were getting those downloads and these realizations or new perspectives, understanding something in a new way. You may be facing feelings like guilt, or you may be questioning yourself, or you may be getting down on yourself in some kind of way. That's this Nine of Swords energy. And then we've got the Chariot reversed at the at the closing out that pool. So the Chariot the Chariot upright. This is a very movement-oriented card. Very forward, go. It's also about victory. It's about winning. So with this Nine of Swords and then the Chariot reversed, I see you kind of wondering or having this fear that, of failure. It's going to fail, or that you have already failed. And that's not the case. I can tell you already. I don't need to pull any more cards to tell you that. So I do feel like there's something more, though, with this Chariot in reverse. If I can find... There we go. low lighting, right? The chariot reversed means you are no longer in the driver's seat. You are now watching as events spiral out of control. There's also a sense of ego being at work here, so it might be time to realize what you can and cannot change. So that loops back into the whole Hanged Man reverse that we got in the beginning of the reading. 2525 might be significant, or Christmas, December. So that loops back in with that sort of martyr feeling, the over-giving, over-sacrificing to your own detriment. What I'm seeing here is that, and this is also looping into the eclipse season as well, astrologically. If you're not watching this at the time this is posted, then it's still the symbolism of that is affecting you right now. The message itself still applies, so don't worry. But it's just this overall spirit, God, the universe has taken the reins for you, and you are being redirected in maybe a couple big ways, maybe in many different ways. Regardless, you are being redirected. And it's just one of those moments where really the best thing you can do is sit and watch. You can't try to stress yourself out trying to keep all of these ends together, trying to keep all of these ends tied, trying to hold everything together. But ultimately, it's in your best interest, and it is divinely advised that you just let go and you allow, just allow, and watch everything change and happen around you. Now, for those of you who are going through very, very difficult times, maybe you're dealing with some sort of loss or something like that, this does still apply, and I know a lot of you might be thinking, you don't understand. But when a feeling hits us deeply, when a change is hitting us deeply, when something is happening and we don't get a say, then it's exactly that. We don't get a say. When the external is changing in a way that you can't control, let it. Let it. Watch and see where it goes, because it's going to lead to something better. And in the meantime, when you're dealing with that roller coaster of emotions and events and situations, the best thing that you can do is to let those feelings exist, as hard as it might be and as painful as it might be sometimes. You can't digest it or get through it without letting it exist and just letting yourself feel it and be there. And yeah, I was gonna go somewhere and I completely lost my train of thought. Alright, so I think I'm gonna start closing this out. I'm going to do Oracle. I'll do the Seashell Oracle. We'll do the ocean theme since water, emotions, right? So let's see what the Seashell Oracle has to tell you. What wisdom does it have to share? Alright, 2 right off the bat. Diver and beachcomber. Diver, boundaries, bravery, and trust. That's exactly what we were just talking about. How you have to, when things happen outside of your control, externally to you, you just gotta let it happen and watch as it unfolds and see where it goes and trust that there's a reason that it's happening. It's leading you to somewhere. And then we've got beachcomber, curiosity, avarice, I don't know how to say that word, and pursuit of happiness is what that word reminds me of. So that card is making me think of, immediately I'm thinking, let your curiosity flow, let it flow. And part of that is with the whole watching things unfold. Allow yourself to be curious. You're watching, essentially, you're living through a season of your life. It's better than a TV show because because you're living it, and you get to experience all of the depth of being human, and you get to experience all of the wins, and you get to experience overcoming the darkness. And you also get to experience your own strength. And I think that's easy to forget. But anyway, so we have and also surprises. I don't know why, but the seahorse here is reminding me of surprises. And also, there's also something about, it could be about partnership for some of you here with the way that seahorses reproduce and everything, but it's just this feeling of love that I'm getting. And with Beachcomber as well, with these two cards as well, I'm also seeing that, you know, you have diving and then Beachcomber, which is about picking through and getting little treasures from your adventure. 111 on the clock and 3113, sorry. So in this time, in this sort of tumultuous time, in the chaos, there's gems of something very valuable, whether that's knowledge, whether that's experience, whether that is yourself, different understandings of yourself, or reaching a version of yourself that you never thought you would reach before. Or it could also be finally getting onto the same page with someone, because we did get that Lover's card. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that this could be manifesting for you personally. But the point is that within all of this chaos, there is treasure to be seen and to be collected and gathered. So I'm going to leave that message here. And yeah, I hope it helped. I hope it gave you some insight. And if it did, if it resonated, leave a like, leave a comment. Yeah, subscribe. Okay. Bye.